Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Power Book 3 Raising Kanan finale review. We just finished watching the episode. I think our minds are still very much in the Raising Kanan world. I loved this finale. Like, absolutely loved the finale.
Yeah, I thought this finale was really well done. They took time to show us sort of the parts of this that you normally wouldn't see, like the straight up after effects of everything that Rock had put in plan. We got to see it from Unique's side, from Rock's side, from Lou's side, from the cop side, like Kanan's side, everybody. And it really felt like we were in that moment of just all that chaos and everything that was going on. It's great.
Yeah, I know that there's probably going to be a prevailing, criticism of, oh, I expected, this, that, or the other, and I went into it thinking that there was going to be some sort of huge, like, jaw-dropping moment because this is like the Power universe, but this kind of felt like a much better version of 24, and I'm not the dog on 24. Some seasons of it were good, but it's just like this. It was so intense the whole way through, and I really was watching it kind of breathing heavy at times because I kept thinking something horrible was about to happen just like around every corner with just the environment that they set up. Like, it was the environment that made this so well done.
Yeah, it was really tense. Every part of this just felt so intense, which, yeah, there was no big, like, oh my goodness
Yeah.
moment, but I'm fine with that. There's been plenty of those moments all season long on this show. This really was the finale that it needed.
Well, we're going to get into a lot of these big moments, a lot of the things that are just going to be talking about amongst all of us within the Power community for a while. But be sure to hit that subscribe button because, Power never ends. They love that hashtag that they put on everything.
Yeah,
And
they do.
Power Book 2 Ghost is going to be starting up really before too long. It's coming back in November. We'll be here to discuss that. Also, we've got Force, the Tommy Show, which I am going to have a hard time calling anything other than the Tommy Show.
We're all waiting for the Tommy show. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And I'm not saying that we're not going to be excited for book two. I am. I do like the show, but Tommy,
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, if you want to keep up with us, in addition to subscribing, check out our Instagram at Matt and Jess TV, and we've got some fun stuff over there.
All right, where do you want to start?
I guess here's the thing. If they didn't have the promo kind of ruined part of the Howard surprise because I would say that Detective Howard somehow surviving this is the big story, but they kind of gave it away already.
Yeah, that was a real bummer, actually, that they gave that away because there was a good portion at the beginning of this episode where if you hadn't seen the promo, you really didn't know if Kanan killed Detective Howard or not. And that intensity with the intensity of the rest of the episode was really solid. So yeah, they really shouldn't have given that away. They didn't need to give that away in the promo to get
No.
us to come back. We were gonna come back.
Yeah, especially because it sets in motion like just this wonderful like domino effect where Howard ends up being found. He ends up being carted off to the hospital, and that is sort of like the impetus for everything because you've got sort of the waiting to see if he's okay, but then you also have the cops on the street desperate for revenge, and Rock thinks she's got this all figured out. It's like there's so many moving parts. And I think you really get that sense of if one thing just goes completely awry, how is it going to affect everything else?
Which is what I really liked about this the most. Rock thought of a lot of things. She did have, a plan A. Some of it involved Scrappy. He was back as well. And
Yeah.
and then she also had the plan B just in case something went sideways and things were going sideways. And she did have to pull the chute on some stuff and go with plan B. But the part that I think she really wasn't expecting was for Marvin to get picked up by the cops, and then she doesn't know, and she doesn't know where he is, and she's paging him and paging him and paging him. It was good to see that everything didn't just work out exactly the way that she thought it was going to work out. Even her best laid plans with a plan A, backup plan B, still not enough.
I do love the fact that out of all the meticulous stuff that we had here, all the careful planning, it is freaking Tony who ends up trying to find a way to make sure that nothing goes perfectly. Tony, the worst character on the show. I guess you had your moment in the sun. Congratulations.
You guys all know how I feel about Tony.
Yeah.
I was really surprised to see her come back last week. I had forgotten about her. She felt like kind of a throwaway character. She's got to be done now. Please do not bring her into season 2. I do not want to see Tony anymore. She has played the part she needs to play, and goodbye. Tony, goodbye.
I think we may see Tony for one more episode, and it's
Oh,
only
man, see
because
yourself out.
it's because she had that moment where she was basically being like the at Marvin after he's already arrested. He's gonna want to get revenge over that. This is Marvin.
Listen, I love a good revenge story. If you follow us here at the channel, you know how much I love a good revenge story. And Tony, you deserve revenge to be, had here from Marvin. But you know what? I can live without this revenge to not see Tony back on the show again. Marvin, you can move forward. You do not need revenge.
Maybe they could just write it into the script being like, oh, it's like that time we went and got revenge over Tony.
Yeah, or we can just see her floating in the river or something, and then it'll be like, oh, good for you, Marvin.
All right, well, from here, it's time to talk about how Scrappy is now my guy, Scrappy, because, like me, he only has one functional eye now, and you know what? Me and Scrappy, we have a common kinship. Scrappy, after everything that happened with Kanan and you, look at you, Scrappy. You're getting your stuff together. You're still staying loyal. I got a lot of respect for Scrappy.
Yeah, it was good. Of course, we knew that he had not died. It's been interesting. We've had a lot of sort of these, we thought Scrappy was dead. No, he was all right. Is Lulu dead after the fire? No, he's all right. What about Howard? Oh my goodness. No, he's all right. There's been a lot of that sort of, could they be dead? Not really.
I do think eventually they probably do have to kill somebody actually off because, yeah, it is a lot of fake outs. And the Lulu storyline of him being taken out of the hospital when he does, and he's just basically a walking corpse for the rest of the episode.
That talk that he had with his sister, oh man, was that ever a good scene? That was so intense. And I know I'm using that word a lot with this episode, but this episode was intense across the board. But that conversation where Lulu was like, listen, I'm done. I'm out. And she's telling him, you're not out. Not only are we a team, we're a family. That is forever. What's yours is mine. What's mine is yours. Even that record label, also mine. It was so intense.
Yeah, it's Lulu is a smart guy, and it's interesting that, he still has sort of a naive blind spot here and thinking that he can kind of run this music empire of his and it's never going to be connected to rock and it's all going to be fine. And here's the other thing that I'm really kind of curious about with that scene, because Lulu had that line where he was sort of saying, we already have enough money, Rock. We could buy up blocks. We could be in a good situation. And she's just like, we don't have enough yet. Rock she's got some dangerous Walter White tendencies here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it really isn't about the money. If they have money that they can buy up blocks for blocks, then it's not about the money. And we know that it's not. I mean, that whole sort of scene at the end where she's sort of standing over everything and watching all the chaos, and she knows that she has caused this, she has orchestrated this. This is all gonna help her be more powerful. It is power. That is what this is about. It's not really only about the money.
And you know what? I know it didn't go perfectly for you, Rock, but tip of the cap because you managed to have a lot of it go fairly well. I am still just completely enamored with the oven trapdoor plan.
That was great.
we've seen we've seen this storyline for a while, but this like really fully paid off to me in a very satisfying way.
Oh, yeah, it really did. Okay, so we also have to talk, of course, about Unique. We're 10 minutes in now. We haven't spoken about him yet. I was really concerned that they were maybe going to kill him off at the end of this season. And I was concerned because I really enjoy this character. I think that he is such a good foil for Rock. The back and forth that they have, they're both really smart. They're both very charismatic. Like, I just didn't want to see him die, and I didn't. However, he has been arrested. So I'm wondering if there's going to be next season, either he's going to be able to figure out a way to wiggle out of it, or next season he's just going to not really be around too much, a little bit. But then they're going to set it up that he'll be able to get out of jail and he will be out for season 3, sort of bring in another villain or foil for Rock to deal with in season 2.
What I just loved about this unique stuff in this episode, because usually when we see sort of the demise of like the great villain, it's because they've done something completely ridiculous and kind of dumb. Whereas Unique, I loved how he was really kind of sharp and aware of things throughout the episode. Like he was able to sort of piece together pretty quickly what was going on with the shooting. And then the second he saw that jacket in the closet, was just like, oh no, this is all over now.
Yeah, he's a really smart guy, and he really was figuring out things as sort of they were happening. He was just that one step behind Rock, but he was picking up very quickly what she was dropping down. It was way too little too late.
And the thing that I'm so curious about now, of course, is what is Detective Howard going to say? Because Detective Howard could seal Unique's fate or not seal Unique's fate.
I was really shocked that they decided not to drop who he was going to say, because he knows that he needs Kanan to be able to live. He needs that transplant. He needs him. Yeah. He can't have him be in jail. At the same time, he knows that Rock is capable of doing this. Yeah. So he's still not probably going to end up being able to get that bone marrow transplant anyways. But there's still a chance. There's less of a chance if he's in jail. I truly expected him to just say it was Unique. And that way, even though, he's betrayed Unique, he's done a solid for Rock. Maybe now there's that, 0.01% chance that Rock will do a solid for him. Probably not. She just tried to kill him. But,
It's sort of like...
when you're desperate, You're desperate, right?
It's like when you go and you buy a lottery ticket. You have probably like a 1 in bazillion chance of winning, but you're still buying the ticket. Like, we're in a situation here with Howard where, his lottery is being able to actually, like, literally survive, which he's not really doing a great job of at the moment anyway, but he does need Kanan. I like that they didn't tell us what he was going to say, but that's mostly just because in the absence of like a lot of other big cliffhangers, we can now like sit around and drive ourselves crazy about this for like the next however many months that it is.
The other scene that I really, really liked was the stuff, of course, with Jukebox and Kanan. It was really good. I love the way that she was sort of calling out Rock, that Rock did set him up to kill a cop. And we've got Kanan, who's sort of, he was getting charmed by his mom. She was definitely gassing him up, being like, you can do this. I believe in you. You want it in? You're in. I'm going to give you all the tools to be in with me. It's you and me. But really, it is just Kanan is the person who's pulling the trigger. So in the end, when it comes down to it, Kanan's really the only person that could be in trouble for this if it came out that he was the person who did it. It's not Rock. So that conversation, I think, was really important because at the end, too, we heard that voiceover from 50 Cent who was just kind of like, you can't trust anybody, even your mom. And it's true. And I feel like that moment that he was sort of driving away and looking back and seeing Jukebox, he was driving away from his own sort of childhood or being a young, more naive innocence. His innocence was sort of leaving him, seeing her standing there, who had given him sort of the real world talk to be like, this part of our life is kind of over. Like we're not really getting to have that part of our life, our childhood, that bit of innocence to grow up as a, teenager where we're not living in this environment.
I'm starting to think about something that's going to be in maybe like Raising Kanan season 5, season 6.
I like where you're going with this.
I,
Season 5, season 6.
yeah, we get a lot of Raising Kanan this way. It's just the thing that I keep going back to in my head is that, famous scene with Tariq and Kanan and Power itself, where, Kanan talks about having to kill, people you love. And I think there's a good chance Kanan kills Rock at some point before this show is over. And I feel like they kind of planted a small seed for it in this finale with that revelation that he's sort of been played. I mean, it's not anywhere near enough yet, but it's something that I could see happening, and I don't think Kanan shooting Detective Howard really counts as anything because he doesn't know Howard is his biological dad.
No, and I mean, it's possible. We know that in Power that there was a moment where Kanan said, like, I just came back from seeing my mom's. Okay, well, is she alive or was he visiting her grave? We don't know.
It adds that like another layer of mystery here, and I think that gives us just like that more ammunition to be excited about where things are going, because I think somebody close to Kanan's gonna die on this show still. I think Kanan's probably gonna do it. Like, we still don't even know like what freaking Symphony's purpose is and all of this now that he's kind of popped back up out of the blue.
Yeah, when Rock made that call and was like, listen, I know I shouldn't be calling you, but like, I am desperate. I need a favor. There was a second I thought she was actually calling her mom. I mean, we had just seen her leave the church. She had actually been there with her mom. We know that her mom is like not having everything that is going on with Rock. But we also know that that's his grandma. So, would she step up if she needed to help her grandson? Probably. I would like to think so.
It would have made sense if that was the direction that they went in. And like I like what they did just because I was so transfixed on it being her mom, because that just sort of made sense because we saw her mom. We didn't see Symphony until that very point where he shows up.
Yeah, and I was glad that he did show up. I mean, after their last talk at the hospital, I kind of was wondering if we would see Symphony again, but we did, and it's good.
Where is Kanan? How long is Kanan gonna be gone? Like, that's another big part of this for me now, because he's just like drove off, and it sounds like he needs to be kind of out of there for a while. But what is a while?
I don't know. At least till season 2.
Yeah, is it going to be like the start of season 2? It's like 6 months later and he's being drove back into town?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm very curious to see if there is going to be some sort of a time jump. I mean, we had a very, like you said, 24, everything was happening in real time kind of thing, which was just so cool. I just really loved that feeling.
Okay, so there. I always like to at least have one lighthearted Raising Kanan moment in these videos.
Are we back to Famous and Rainbow?
Oh, we're going back to Famous here, because this was the most ridiculous thing. You got Lou like almost dying in the car, and then Famous' song starts playing, and listen, Famous. Time and place, man. This is not the time to celebrate your musical achievement when your record label manager here may not make it to sign you to your next deal.
I get it. He's a young guy, though. It is such a big moment to have sort of that. You hear your song playing, or that type of thing. I remember. Here's a quick story time. I made a movie way back in like 2001 or something like that. I remember the first time I saw it at Blockbuster. Oh my God, I'm aging myself here, but you guys already know I'm a 46-year-old lady. I am the same age as Kanan would have been during this time. Anyways, going to Blockbuster and seeing it up on the shelf for the first time was like, it's a really cool thing. So I get it, time and place. Yeah, I understand, but you're a young person. You're hearing your song on the radio. It's Famous in Rainbows.
I'm gonna be so sad when Famous dies. This dude's
I
definitely gonna
know.
die. And he brings so much just nonsense to this show, and I
Yeah.
think we need a character like him.
Yeah.
Overall, though, it's just I'm so happy Raising Kanan came into our lives. We enjoyed it. We were surprised, horrified at times.
I can't believe it's over. Like, this show, honestly, hands down for me, it is the best new show of the year. It is not close. It went by like this, like a blink. It is. I can't even believe that it is over this fast. And for me, that is a sign of a very, very, very good show. Where I'm like, I'm counting down the days till the next one. Can't wait. Even waiting for this finale, I was just kept like looking at my phone, looking at my phone. Is it time? Is it time? Oh, it's been 5 minutes since the last time I checked. This was a great first season.
I can't argue with anything you just said. I do think it is the best new show of the year. I
Love
think it's
it.
just so much good stuff. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us all season. We hope you're here once more for Power Book 2 Ghost,
Yep.
where you can hear us talk about some great stuff and also complain about Jabari, who, spoiler alert, is dead. So hopefully we won't be complaining that much more about him.
No, but I'm sure we'll be complaining about Carrie. So there's that.
Yay! Okay, well, let us know what you guys thought about the Raising Kanan finale. Where do you think this show is going? Is there anything you wish that they did that they didn't? Let us know. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and we will see you here next time.